and gentlemen, and welcome to another YouTube video. Today I'm joined by Charlie from Jungle Property, and today we're talking about a new venture. They're branching out from the property market and lettings, being lettings agents, and they're now getting into hiring bikes. Electric bikes, no less. So let's, without any further ado, cut across to Charlie so he can tell us all about the new venture. So how you going, Charlie?
I'm very good. How are you?
Oh, I'm very well. Now, we've known each other quite a long time, haven't we?
It's been a number of years, actually, yeah.
Yeah, in fact, we used to go bike riding together.
We did.
We should do this again.
We should.
We should do this again. But the reason for being here today is to talk about your electric bikes.
Yes.
Now, what made you get into electric bikes?
Good question. So I am quite a keen cyclist myself, and I actually manage rental properties in Glastonbury, short and long-term rentals. I thought, what could I do to bring a unique experience to guests coming to Glastonbury? Because I meet a lot of people who come to the town who basically are kind of stuck in the town in terms of they get here and they come to see what's in the town. And I thought, how could I get them out to places like Hamwell Nature Reserve? How could I get them out of town, basically, on something that's not going to be a bus or anything?
Because we're surrounded by perfect cycling
Yes,
country.
yeah. We've got obviously the levels. So yeah, Glastonbury Electric Bikes was born. The original idea was to actually have them in holiday lets where people could hire them as part of the stay. However, sort of as things change and we sort of realise demand and things, we've kind of kept it completely separate. So yeah, the idea is to get people out onto the levels and enjoying this town on two wheels, basically. So yeah, it's exciting.
So from tiny acorns, mighty oaks do grow. So you've got two bikes at the moment?
That's correct.
Any plans to enlarge on this?
Yes, so we started with two bikes, and then we're going to expand as and when. We hope to keep bringing more and more bikes in, and the idea is to basically grow it across the town, have multiple locations, so people can sort of get on at different points. Yeah, but like I said, we started with two, and we'll see how it grows. But it's exciting times for visiting Glastonbury on two wheels.
I'm thinking in Bristol you've got the big issue bikes. Now I've looked at those and I've looked at the app, and it's complicated. It's not easy. You can't just, and they want a lot of money. So for this to work, you need to be easy to use, possibly have an app, and good value for money. So what are your plans along those lines?
So at the moment, we basically, well, first of all, the people who are hiring basically are actually hiring through a person, so they come to our premises. Obviously, we show them through the bikes. In terms of the app side of things, well, we've got a mobile-friendly booking system. It handles deposits, handles payments, it handles all the system in terms of the emails that people get. And then, yeah, where we're sort of slightly different is that we will show people, you know, the bikes, as in that there isn't sort of I know in cities they do the collection from a point, whereas at the moment we're actually doing it in person, and basically it's basically about creating an experience for people that makes them want to come back to Glastonbury. So they want to talk to us about routes. As a local cyclist, I obviously know a lot of the good routes, so we're going to sort of expand that, and basically making people a great experience for people to enjoy the town. Whereas I think in the cities, obviously, where they've got a lot more bikes, it's more of a kind of you might use it to go to A to B to a shop. That's it, and you might not get that personal touch that hopefully that we're going to bring to Glastonbury, which I think is important at the start. And obviously as we grow, because I think it's important to sort of be different and offer that kind of personal touch, really. And if people want to ask questions, and people talk about routes, the things like we're going to start bringing in phone holders, so people will have pre-made routes where people can download it onto their phone, put it onto the bike, and they can follow the route. Yeah, we're sort of going from there.
So, as you say, if they want to have one of these bikes, they have to go to glastonburyelectricbikes.co.uk, which is the website, which would be down below, and they can book it there, everything they need to know. Presumably, do they need some sort of deposit or?
Yes.
Deposit. So you're going to need a deposit, but it's a good day rate, and you can take the bikes out onto the levels, which I'm going to do in a minute. And so I go there so you don't have to. We're going to take one of these bikes out and see how it runs. But for now, Charlie, it's been brilliant talking to you, buddy.
And you. It's great to see you, Gabe.
Yeah, absolutely. We should go for a ride soon.
I think we should.
I think we should.
My fitness is a bit down.
Is it? I'll bring my electric bike. I'll give you a workout.
Yeah, that's great. I'll bring my road bike. Sounds good. As long as there's cake, I'm there.
Absolutely. Thanks, Charlie. It's been a pleasure
Gabe.
talking to you. So here we are. We've come outside and we've come to see the bike. And I can see over there, there's a young Charlie and a bike. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Gabe,
that's
you all right?
a nice looking bike, bro.
In all its beauty.
Whoa, look at that. So this is obviously a purpose-built bike.
Yes.
It's not been converted. These are proper electric bikes like you would buy in the shop.
That's it, yeah.
Excellent.
So we currently got 2 of these bikes. As I said earlier on, we're hoping to quickly expand to more than 2. We started off with 2. So basically you've got 8 gears.
Yeah.
And basically you've got a big old battery here, which sort of gives you sort of 40 to 50 miles range, depending on your speed, where you take the bike, up the hills, down the hills, the levels. Yeah, we've got a nice comfortable saddle. Yeah, they're ideal really for exploring Glastonbury.
Fantastic, and they're not heavy, are they either?
No, that's it. No, I mean, despite the big battery, they're not heavy.
Well, I'm going to be taking this one out for a ride today, so hopefully it's fully charged and ready to go.
It's fully charged, ready to go. The brakes are working, the gears are working. It's just ready for you to enjoy the town, really.
And the all-important helmet.
Yes, yeah. So as part of the hire, you get a helmet.
Yeah.
And obviously that's for everybody's safety.
So, here we are, and without any further ado, let's get this show on the road. So down here we have the control panel. That's in speed 1, and we're off. And any second now, there's the motor cutting in. We're actually on a rather high gear, so I'm going to take it down the gears. So here we go. We're now riding. It's a very high upright position on these bikes. Very high and upright. But then these are town bikes, so that's what they're designed for. So, what I'm going to do first of all is take a ride into town, grab a coffee and see what it's like. So first thing we're going to do is up the speed 1. So I've now taken it to number 3, so I'm in full pedal assist. I'm hoping the wind isn't too bad here today because we got some wind, but we will see what we can do. The controls are all well laid out. You've got disc brakes front and back, and we've got gears. I like centre drives because with a centre drive you can still use the gears. So we've got a full set of gears here, 8 of them to be precise. So I'm just shifting up the gears. It's not as sprightly as my bike, but you don't need sprightly. If you're not used to an electric bike, these are nice and gentle. There's enough power out there to take away hill anxiety. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to head up Benedict Street. So So I'm indicating, car behind me, car in front of me. Where's he going? He's going to let me through. Thank you. What a lovely man. So here we are. On my bike, as long as you're pedalling, you've got power. I think these may be torque boxes, which basically means that what happens, the harder you cycle, the more assistance you get. So we're just going to wait now for the traffic. Oh, hello. Let's push the button, because the cars aren't going to stop for us. And then when the cars stop, we'll carry on. And here we go. And we're off. So this bike is very easy to pull off from a standing start, because the power does come in quite quickly. So pulling away like that is quite easy. What we're going to do is find some hills and test it on a hill as well. Not that hills are an issue around here. This is Glastonbury and we are surrounded by the levels. Which leads me on to my next point. Glastonbury is probably one of the best places that you can go to rent an e-bike or any bike, because we're surrounded by the levels and the levels are flat. You can cycle for miles. I frequently cycle to Burnham, which is about 30 miles away, 25 miles away, for something to do. Because it's flat between here, the roads aren't busy, and it's basically a lovely place to go. And I'm sure that these bikes could probably get you there, possibly back again. I don't know. So we're cycling up Benedict Street now in Glastonbury. I can see the Tor in front of me over there. There's the Tor. And we're heading up the road. Speedo's indicating 19 miles an hour. I think that's probably, unless that's kilometres, because I was going to say, no way is that 19 miles an hour. Coming up past St Benedict's Church on our right. And we'll go up. I want to go up Windmill Hill because I need to test what this is like on a hill, basically. It's the first thing I want to try and do. As I say, there aren't many hills around here, but we might as well see what this does on them. So here we are, here's our first destination. The wonderful Heaths here on our left is where we're going to stop and have a coffee. So, my initial thoughts, having ridden the bike literally into town, it's a comfortable bike, the controls are well laid out, it's not going to be massively fast, but then legal road bike. This is a legal electric bike. 15.5 miles an hour is the top speed on these, on a 250 watt motor. So you're not going to go hill climbing on it, it's not built for that, but for around town and for going for rides on the levels, this bike is absolutely perfect. I can't fault it so far. As I say, in a minute we're going to go up, Windmill Hill, see how this thing copes, and hopefully cycle up round the Tor, because any electric bike should be able to cope with those sorts of hills. So we will try those next, but first, coffee. So here we are back on the bike. I've got the high street in front of me over there. So we're going to see how this copes with a hill. A small hill at first with a high street, and then I'm going to take it further on up to Windmill Hill. So here we go. And we're off. Again, you've got that really nice pickup as you pull away. There's no struggle to get the thing moving. So here we are, we're coming up the high street now. I'm in number 2 and it's fairly easy, it's good, it's working well. And No problems here. Heading straight on up the high street. So it's coping with the high street without any issues at all. It's come straight up here. So this is a fairly small hill, but it's coped with it. So here we go, heading on up. In a minute we'll get to a test of the bike, because over there you can see in front of us, it's the start of Windmill Hill. I'm probably going to drop down through the gears for this. Here we go, and we're off. So, here's the test. Here's the hill in front that we've got to go up. Let's see how it copes. I'm in a fairly low gear. I'm not pedalling very hard at all. I'm not out of breath, and it's coming up the hill. These roads aren't very good. But no, I'm coming up this hill with no effort at all. I'm in number 3, and it's sailing up what is quite a tall hill. You can hear the motor running. It's getting a bit steeper, I can feel it now. Can definitely feel it. Might drop down another gear or two. There's 1, 2. So, as you can see, I'm pedalling quite quickly, but there's no effort involved at all. It's coming up this hill with no problems whatsoever. And here we are, we've almost reached the top of the hill, and that was fairly effortless. So from a point of view of hill climbing, 9 out of 10. I say 9 because I had to drop down through the gears a bit, but you're not going to find any problems. I'm going to turn right here, head off towards the Tour. You're not going to have any problems with the gearing on this bike, and you're not going to have any problems being out of breath cycling it up a hill. So this is probably one of the tallest hills you're going to hit if you come around Glastonbury, because as I say, when you get out on the levels, that's not an issue. So here we go. Battery's still good. This is Moss Delph. You can see all the tree roots. And here we are coming up the hill. Thank you. Hiya. So, a little bit more hill to go, and it's just this last little bit. I'm having to pedal harder here. Can we drop down a gear? I'm at the bottom gear now. And I've got to say, anybody with moderate fitness, not even moderate fitness, anybody who can pedal a bike on the flat will not have any problems pedaling this bike through here. So I'm going to turn right here. This is Bulwarks Lane, and over there you can see the Tour. If you look to your left now, there's the Tour up on the hill. Oh, Tour up on the hill. There's the Tour. This is a lovely road, this one. You get a lovely view back out over the levels from up here, because it's so high and it's above the back way up to the Tour. Don't know why, but I always wanted to live in that house. I don't know what it is about it. This is where the Beltane maypole happens. To your left there is the walk up to the Tour. We're going to go to the right. come round here. Now there is going to be a little more hill climbing in a minute. These bikes are very stable. They don't make you feel nervous at all. They give you a very solid ride. They go where you point them. And that motor does cut in really nicely when you start pedalling. It is really nice when you start pedalling, that one. So we're going uphill still. And I have to tell you, I'm putting no effort into this. I'm deliberately, normally on my bike, I pedal because that's how you get more range as the tool. But I'm deliberately letting the bike do as much of the work as I can so that I can let you know how easy this is to ride and what sort of range you can expect. The battery hasn't moved yet, the indicator. This bike is new, so therefore the battery's going to be new. So the density on the battery will be quite good. So at the moment you should expect the maximum range out of these. And as I say, I thought coming up here would test that and see if the battery dropped, and it hasn't. That's a good thing. There we go, look. A little bit here where you need to pedal. But if I come down the gears, you won't need to. Here we go. I've got to say, I'm very impressed with these little bikes. Very impressed. As a town bike, it's not much to fault it. And it certainly made it up to the Tour. So if you fancy coming up to the Tour, you can do that. They have got built-in bike locks. However, they're the sort that go around the back wheel. If you're going to come up the Tour, I would suggest you probably bring a proper bike lock. Maybe that's something we could talk to Charlie about. Maybe they can provide proper gate locks, proper padlocks, so that if you wanted to chain your bike to a fence and go off for a walk, you can. Because with the situation you have here at the moment, it's pretty much easy to walk away with. So here's the entrance to Glastonbury Tour. So that's the way to the Tour, through there, that way. Let's carry on. Now we've got some downhill, we're not going to need the motor at all now. So we'll just head on up here. These boulders are put in to stop people parking up here, sadly. Upset a lot of people when they got put in, but sadly the actions of a few affect the many, as usual. Right, so downhill we go. Got the Tour to our right up there. Tried to keep the speed down to stop the camera getting shaken around too much. Because I'm using a 360 camera, obviously, on a stick. So every bump on the bike is magnified at the camera end, and I don't want to have to make the steadying software work too hard on it. I used to walk this road an awful lot. When I first moved to Glastonbury in '92, I think it was. Yes, it was. Just the other side of that hedge over there was Ashwell Farm campsite. And that is where I pitched a tent and lived for the first few months I lived here. Just over this fence. There used to be a stile there, you can see it's grown over now. So let's head on into town, back this way. So we've actually circled the Tour now. This is where we're going to drive on the main road for a bit. Not something I'd recommend you do. There's plenty of places around here where you can go and avoid the main road. So, but for now, I just want to get back into town. Thank you. I just want to get back into town as quickly and easily as possible. Another bed and breakfast there. Now this is the main A361, which is also a freight route. God knows why. It's not big enough to be a freight route, but that's another video perhaps. So as we continue on down here, right, here we go, into town. Let's put some speed on this thing, see what we can get it to do. Right, so I've cranked it up, I'm in the highest gear, and as you get to a certain speed, because of the legality of these things, all the power assistance goes away and I'm now cycling. I'm now pedaling this bike. We're going to go downhill in a minute. Let's hang a left here, because what I want to do now is I want to head out onto the levels, because we've tested this on a hill, so now what we've got to do is test it on the level. So we want to see what this thing cruises like. Here we go, through here, past the wonderful Queen of Cups on our right. Best coffee in town there for a while, although now we've got the Heathys in going, I don't know if they still are. So this is North Road Street. This will take us out onto the levels, which is where we want to be. I'm in the highest gear now. I've got the maximum thrust. This is in 3 levels, 1, 2 and 3. I'm currently in the 3rd, which is giving the maximum power, and I'm steaming down this road. It's a slight downhill. It's offering no problems at all, other than the road is absolutely appalling. Now here we go. So now we're at the city limits of Glastonbury pretty much. There's the wonderful corner stores with the wall painting by John Mitchell, you can see over my shoulder. And this is the bypass, often the boundary of a town. So here we go. We're going across here, indicating left so they don't run us over, thank you. And here we are. So this is the road to Mere. I'm not going to Mere. I'm going to head out, Grey Fergie over there. I'm going to head out towards Godney, because I figure if we go out and around Godney and back, that's pretty much the testing done. So what we'll do is we'll indicate, pull across, and then we'll just dive down this road here, which, as the signpost clearly states, shows we're 4 miles from Godney, which is where I'm heading. So off we go down here. As you can see from the flag, we're going directly into wind. If I was in a plane, this is the direction I'd want to take off in. On a bike, it's not the best thing, but with an electric bike, it's not really a problem, thank you. These are the levels we're on now. As you can see, hills in the distance over there. Hills aren't going to be an issue out here. I think we've just lost our first click of battery power. Performance on these bikes is quite impressive, I've got to say. The saddle to handlebar distance on these bikes is quite short. The handlebars are much closer than I'm used to, but it makes for an upright, quite comfortable, relaxed riding position. Right there, you can see the site of Glastonbury Lake Village. That was excavated many years ago, and I did a video of it right back when I started the channel. It was one of my very early videos, that one. Got a car behind me, so I'm going to wave him past. As soon as I get to this corner I can see. Yep, let him go. Thank you! Ladies and gentlemen, if you're out on the bike and the car is courteous, give them a wave, say thank you. It doesn't cost you anything, and it might just mean they're courteous to the next cyclist as well. There's far too much bike hate at the moment. I've got to say, I'd be quite confident this would make it to the seaside and back at Burnham-on-Sea, which would be good. As you can see, some cars just come flying through, giving you no room. Normally the bigger cars, like that one, just went past. Oh, we've got a big old tractor coming now. We'll pull over and give him some room. Working man and all that. I'm going to pull over just here. Thank you. Mustn't forget, this is their factory floor. So, always give way to tractors. I do. See over there in the distance, Glastonbury tour. We cycled round there earlier on. And so here we are. We've come full circle and we're back in Glastonbury. So I'm going to head back to the red brick building and give you some of my final thoughts on these rather nice bikes. Bit of a clue there. See you in a minute. as I ride this bike back after what is probably close on a 20-mile ride, what are my thoughts? Well, firstly, it's a good solid bike. They're well built, they're nicely put together, the controls all fall nicely to your hands. Everything's where it needs to be. The battery, well, I've done, as I say, 20 miles-ish, and the battery is showing half empty, so that gives these a range of about 40 miles. So you're probably not going to quite make it out to Burnham-on-Sea and back, but it would certainly give you a good day out if you did a 40-mile loop. Yeah, the brakes are good. They've got good stopping power. The gears are slick. Each click on the lever here gives you one up or one down, which is really good. And that's about all I can say, really. They're good. They give a really nice ride. You can go up a hill on them. I've been up the steepest hill in Glastonbury and it didn't take any effort. I've been on the levels and it cruises along nicely. Again, with very little effort. If you want to put effort in, obviously you can and you'll go further. But I've deliberately today not done that because I wanted to see how the battery held up if it was doing all the work, and it's held up really well. They're the pros. Are there any cons? Not really. The only thing that springs to mind I would change is the saddle has got a hexagonal key to adjust it up and down. I would replace that with a quick release clamp so that whoever's riding the bike can change it to suit them easily without having to carry tools. And the only other thing, and it's again like the saddle thing, easily correctable, is the speedometer. Everything reads out in kilometres, not miles per hour. So let's see if we can go and find Charlie. Oh, here he comes. Charlie! Hello, buddy. You must have seen me coming.
How did you get on?
It was good. I enjoyed it. Yes,
Brilliant.
they were a very sturdy bike. They're well made. They're nicely put together. I like the control layout. I like the way it rides. I've done about 20 miles and it's showing 2 bars. So it's about 40-mile range is about right.
Great.
I've taken up the steepest hill around here, which is up to the Windmill Hill.
Right.
Went up, no problem.
Great.
I took it out on the levels, been up by Godney that way. Cruises along nicely. The 2 cons,
Go.
and they're tiny cons. One, that needs to read in MPH, not KPH.
Yeah.
That's one little thing. And the other thing was, I mentioned to you earlier, a quick release on the saddle means, because if this is going to be left for somebody at a bed and breakfast, you don't have to leave tools and have them using hex wrenches.
No, yeah.
A nice little click, up, down job. So yeah, I mean, that's it. It's a great bike. Thank you very much for the use of it. I'll put the information in the description because you've got Facebook and all sorts of
Yes.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there it is. Great bike.
Gig.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.